Bureau Boys is an improvised detective serial. Every Monday morning, the Bureau Boys solve crimes based on clues sent in by their informants.
That's you! Go to thebureauboys.com to submit your clues, informant.
Thank you to Informant Hannah for this week's clue in the case of the Batty Billionaire. Deer.
When we last left the Bureau Boys, they were being strangled by an ivy, restricting their necks.
The ivy had sprung from Peter Albright's back and had wrapped itself around the Bureau Boys, strangling the life out of them. Detective Potter had, in desperation, thrown a pail of water upon the vines as the Bureau Boys struggled to survive.
But this wasn't an ordinary pail of water that you'd find lying around a common office. This water was vine food. So when the vine food water splashed against the vines around Detective Riley's neck, it assumed that it got all the sustenance it needed from its victim.
Narrator, you thought those vines were going to eat the Bureau Boys?
Well, you could have fooled me.
I'm not trying to fool you at all. I just describe what's happening. My narrator friend over here is shifting his eyes back and forth and tugging at his collar.
Well, the point is, the plant had quite a reaction to the water food. Food, water. You know, plants have, there's, when you buy like a dozen roses and it comes in a little packet you put in the water.
Narrator, I don't have time to explain photosynthesis to you.
I'm trying to explain it to you.
Well, you're doing a poor job.
Well, yeah, I wasn't trying to explain the photosynthesis. It was more about, the little packet of powder, with the food.
I know. I buy my Canadian girlfriend flowers all the time. The plant food also splashes onto the floor where there are dormant vines. One of them springs up and wraps around Peter Albright's neck.
Damn you detectives. Using my own vines against me.
Not intentionally. We've got a real Guatemalan standoff here.
I think my vine is loosening its grip.
Carl, get in here.
A door behind a window opens.
Dad, did you call for me? No, I said Carl. I would never ask for your help, Marbles. Go to your room. Go make friends with the tiger. This is man's work.
Get out of here, Marbles. Nobody likes you.
Yeah, fuck you, kid.
I'm gonna cancel all those checks. They're gonna bounce.
This is why everyone hates you.
Well, it looks like we've got ourselves a classic Guatemalan vine standoff. Peter, you okay?
Free me from these vines, Carl. I keep a machete under my desk.
Carl, free us too. We hit it off. Except for the karate chop.
Oh,
Right?
you boys left me in the hot sun, and I've got milky white skin. I'm burnt and mad.
You almost would say pale skin if this was last episode. But it's not.
Well, it ain't pale no more.
So, Carl goes over to the desk, opens the door to the desk, and grabs the machete.
Carl doesn't notice that, like all of Peter Albright's property, there's a second machete on top of the machete. Carl goes to swing and free Peter Albright from his vine prison. The second machete flies off. And like a boomerang, because that's kind of what Carl sounds like, that he's from Australia, it cuts through the vine holding Detective Riley and Detective Potter. Amazing!
Not only that, narrator, but the blade keeps spinning until it connects with Carl's carotid artery.
Killing Carl.
Carl, no!
I've always loved you.
You boys have killed my most trusted gatekeeper. Carl's been with me for decades.
Technically, he kind of killed himself. I mean, like, he is the one who threw the machete. And it came around.
This is a pretty clear.
Yeah, I mean, we definitely had nothing to do with this one. And I actually think the courts will believe us this time.
This is a clear-cut case.
Good one, Detective Riley. The Bureau Boys, high five.
Now, Detective Potter and Detective Riley pick up the bloody machetes.
Well, only one of them was bloody. The other one just has plant sap on it.
Well, there's plant blood and human blood. What's the difference, right? Am I right?
Let's go back to that conversation we were having about photosynthesis, narrator. You know what? Never mind. The boys and Peter Albright are moving around and talking. We need to focus.
All right, Peter. Enough with the games and the chit-chat.
Detective Riley, these aren't games and chit-chat. He just tried to kill us, I think. Did you just try and kill us?
It's a yes or no.
I didn't try to kill you. I was trying to give you a trial. A trial by fire in the Colosseum. That's where justice is solved. Trials by fire, trials by combat.
What about justice for all those dead animals in the death room? Mr. Albright?
And frankly, Mr. Albright, our docket is a little full with trials. We have a lot of outstanding litigation that's happening right now. We can't spare the time for another trial. And yes, what about those dead animals? Why do you keep saying, where's the geese?
Where's the geese?
You know where the geese are.
Where's the geese?
They're strung about your yard, and who knows where else you've been murdering these geese. Isn't that right? Haven't you been murdering them? Have you been murdering them?
Yes. There are geese in my yard.
Okay.
That doesn't make me a murderer. Yes, they're dead. Yes, it may look like they have been strangled.
Yes.
But that doesn't mean that I was the one who strangled them or punched them in the throat while strangling them, or punched them in the throat and then wrung out their necks after they had already died from the impact of someone's punches that are not mine.
Wait. Wait, you're right. Detective Potter, you can back me up on this. We do know that the pastor next door, Black Ash, he punched your goose. We think he did because we found
the
rings on his fingers that match the indentations of the hole that's punched through the goose in your death room.
However, Mr. Albright, there is a clear connection between you and your neighbors next door, who you said that you were upset that we were harassing.
And they've been trying to recruit you to join their church, and you haven't.
Yes, you would be like the Tom Cruise to their Scientology. You'd be the biggest name that was part of the Christian Science Church.
But unlike Tom Cruise, as you can tell, gentlemen, I am well adjusted.
I mean, besides like the crazy clown feet and the 14 different types of suits and 30 different colors of paint lining your face, yeah, you do seem pretty normal.
Where's the geese?
Well, okay, and then there's also that.
I'm just going to ask it, Mr. Albright, where the fuck is your wife?
Let me ask you a question, detective.
Okay, I'm not going to play your mind.
Didn't you say you found her? This is completely the opposite of what you said earlier. Or have you been lying this entire time? Have you met the prophet Black Ash himself?
I was trying to do one of those things where you would say where she was, and I'd be like, I didn't say she was there, but it didn't work. It worked one time. It worked one time in all of our detecting. And yes, I was bluffing. We don't know where she is. Where the hell is she?
And we know the prophecy. He told us the prophecy.
And we think there's a connection between your trips. We assume your trip, your last business trip, was to Guatemala. I think that that's where this all is coming to a head, Detective Riley.
What say you, Peter Albright?
At that moment, Peter Albright pulled a drawstring on his jeans, which turned them into a hang glider, and ran over to the window. You'll never catch me, Bureau Boys. I'm going to Guatemala, and I'm going to be there way faster than you could even get out of my labyrinth of a house.
But before Peter Albright can leap from the window, Detective Riley throws his beard like a lasso, catching one rim of the hang glider, tugging him away. And Detective Potter grabs a hold of Detective Riley's left foot, holding on for dear life as they soar out the window together, all three of them, on their way to Guatemala.
The Bureau Boys and Peter Albright soar through the air. Somehow they have enough lift from this mansion to sail all the way to Guatemala. which Detective Riley thinks is in Africa, but Detective Potter reminds him several times.
We're gonna be so close to Nigeria, and I've been wanting to honeymoon there for a long time.
Detective Riley,
So
for
this
the
is
last
kind of a dream
time,
come
we're
true.
not going to Africa. We're going to Guatemala.
Right, which is like a hop, skip, and a jump away from Nigeria.
You boys have to know, as soon as we land in Guatemala, I have the Guatemalan police in my back pocket. You boys are never gonna leave.
Well, if they're in your back pocket, certainly we can overpower them.
As Detective Potter utters these words, they land softly on a dirt road. And at the same moment, Peter Albright reaches into his back pocket.
Now, narrator, I know that you and Detective Riley have some visions of what Guatemala is, but I can assure you they do also have paved roads. It's just this dirt road that the Bureau boys landed on.
Well, I described it correctly then. It is a dirt... There's dirt roads in Tennessee.
Very true. It's running alongside a very modern superhighway.
Okay, let's not embellish. This isn't the Eisenhower. Anyway, Peter Albright pulls out two burly security guards from his back pocket.
As he tosses them at the Bureau boys, they expand into full-sized burly security guards. Like a Pokemon kind of thing.
Arrest these men. They've been harassing me and accusing me of things that I couldn't even be capable of.
Okay, first of all, I've learned a little bit about the court system, what with our pending litigation, and even if we were harassing him, we weren't harassing him in Guatemala. We were harassing him either in international airspace or in the United States of America.
That'll be up for the courts of Guatemala to decide. And Guatemala has a legal system that's very advanced, which to you boys would mean it would take months, if not years of litigation to get through all of their upper courts. I can get this case all the way to the Supreme Court if I need to. I'm Peter motherfucking Albright.
Suddenly, Detective Potter realizes that he is wearing a very similar pair of pants to what Peter Albright is wearing. A ants in the pants pair of pants. Detective Potter removes his pants and throws them over the burly security police, where they shrink back down and fall into his pockets. Ha ha!
Detective Riley stomps on the security guards, crushing them instantly.
Thank goodness. I grabbed that pair of pants off of his dresser and threw them on when we were hang gliding over here to Guatemala.
That was a slick move, Detective Potter.
Thank you. I just didn't want you to see my bare butt.
Not like I haven't seen it before. We used to live together in that haunted mansion.
Anyway.
Now, Peter Albright, we've got you right where we want you. Well, actually, it would be preferable if we were back at home.
Yeah, the American court system, but this is second best because Guatemalan courts are highly advanced.
Peter Albright, sensing that he is finally in actual danger of getting caught and being for real interrogated, runs away. The boys give chase.
But Peter Albright jumps on a nearby Guatemalan deer and pulls ahead. The boys both grab a parrot? I don't know. What's down there? Looks like a parrot.
Mule? Yeah, but there are no mules around.
A llama.
They grabbed
They have llamas, I think.
Sure, but that's neither here nor there. The boys grabbed a parrot. It's a good-sized parrot. They grow pretty big out there.
Indeed. Take it from here, narrator.
So the boys mount the parrot. Detective Riley in front. Detective Riley in the rear.
Detective Riley is both in the front and in the rear? I think not, narrator.
That was a mistake.
This whole thing has been a mistake.
Before they can take off, a sweet voice from atop a white steed speaks to them. A woman. Don't worry, I know where he's going. He's going to fulfill his prophecy. I guess we'll see.
Who is this new, mysterious woman that has crossed the boys' path?
Where is Peter Albright headed?
Will the Bureau boys be able to catch up to him?
And how will this quagmire of a case be brought to justice?
Find out next time on the thrilling conclusion of the case of the Batty Billionaire. If you enjoyed this episode, help the Bureau Boys solve this case by submitting your clue at thebureauboys.com. They may use it on a future episode.
While you're there, why not join their informant network and tell all your friends and family to join too? But don't tell the criminals, because the Bureau Boys are coming for them.